We recommend everybody's not just the ability to protect yourself from unwanted application execution using a zero trust model or being able to restrict rights and whatnot, but also like where antivirus has gone and what's going on with endpoint detection. So Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that looks like today and why people should be using it?
Yeah, so next gen AV, it's, you know, I'm sure most people understand, does things different than the legacy AVs used to, where they were dependent on downloading, updated detection files and things like that. The next gen, leverages machine learning, AI, and kind of understands how things are supposed to work and what things shouldn't. So that's how it's detecting. And you'll see a lot are bundled as or labeled as an endpoint detection response or EDR, which just basically tacks on a visibility on the back end that allows a SOC or some other organization to bring that data in and run it through their AI tools and put eyes on glass so they can let people know if there's something suspicious happening on a machine. In addition to, if there's something severe enough, it could take the endpoint offline and isolate it so whatever's happening on the machine can't spread. So that's really where antivirus has gone to over the last probably 6 or 7 years.
And when you're looking at the endpoint detection and response, there's a lot of like different acronyms out there, right? There's EDR, MDR, XDR. Like, what do the different things mean? And when you talked about a SOC, like for the folks that aren't that tuned in, like kind of give us a little overview of what those flavors are and what a SOC is and why organizations, when they're looking for one of these solutions, should ask those questions about whether or not there's a SOC, whether or not they're using MDR versus XDR versus EDR. Can you kind of give us a little background there?
Yeah. So if you're looking at, if they say there's a SOC behind it, whether it's, a SOC that, or an organization that just provides security operations center, which staff security analysts or security techs or however you want to call it, all they're doing is, ingesting that data from your tool set and looking at and validating when there's an incident.
So a SOC is like a security centric help desk. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
So they're alerting the organization when something's happening. Same thing as, like how we do, you tell us, hey, something's broken on my machine, same concept, except for the SOC is telling you that there's an issue that's detected. When you're looking at the different acronyms, whether it's EDR, MDR, XDR, most are going to have a SOC behind it. EDR is specific to endpoint detection. So basically your next gen AV, Silence, SentinelOne, etc. When you're looking at MDR, that's really where you start to bring in multiple detecting tools, whether it's your endpoint, SIM, anything along those lines. They're starting to bring that data in and correlate it. That's really where you get your MDR, because they're managing all these different ingestion points and figuring out if it's a something being seen on a machine is traversing the network because it's pulling logs off your switches and your firewalls and things like that. So that's where that's all coming into play. It's just kind of as you stack different tools being ingested into the SOC, you're getting into your MDR, and XDR is just basically having any log source being dropped in. So you have different telemetry points.
A lot of like threat hunting and like log systems and potentially stuff from ThreatLocker and like anything that you can aggregate. You're kind of going up the stack from endpoint detection responses. Hey, we found something that might be interesting, to we've correlated something that might be interesting with an MDR, all the way up to XDR is like we've correlated and isolated, and like so you can start like integrating IPS, IDS, all that other stuff kind of all into those solutions.
Exactly. And one thing I would say 99% of the SOCs out there will not do remediation. They will give the information to your MSP or your on staff IT folks to do that, because they don't have the tools or they don't have the knowledge of your environment, so they could potentially make things even worse. So that's where it's important. If you've got an EDR that can isolate a device off the network, they can do that, and then that way it should limit the spread.